When we talk about martial arts, there are names we can't fail to mention. Considered legends by many, these are people who have dominated the field for decades. Whether it's starring in films or crushing their opponents in real life combat, they make it look so epic, and you think, maybe they're just talented, right? The truth is, martial arts is a skill, just like any other. The reason you don't have the skills you want to have is simply the right training. And this is because no one has shown you the secrets that the top martial artists use to get better and better every day. You see, combat is one of the things that all creatures can relate to. And this comes down to our evolutionary need to fight in order to protect our existence. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of martial arts styles across the world. Millions of people training in different ways just to get better at fighting. Each one looking to level up in terms of speed, power, stamina, conditioning, and technique. There are literally gigabytes upon gigabytes of information on the internet on the same topic, with each self-proclaimed master claiming that his style is the best. To become a great fighter, there are lots of skills you need to master. Everyone starts at zero, and then they level up their individual skills through training. There are even superstitions, such as karate is better than kung fu, but it's time you knew the truth. It's time you knew how the best fighters train to become the best. Most people dream of becoming great martial artists, but few actually try, and even fewer manage to become exceptional. These usually have one thing in common: perseverance, not giving up until you get what you want. This quality is what separates the best from the rest. For most of us, an interest in martial arts began after watching our favorite actors in action, combat sports, or our friends. For me personally, it all started after watching Scott Adkins and Bruce Lee in action. From that point, I had a burning desire to be like them. I wouldn't have learned anything if I didn't take action. Having the passion is great, but taking action is your first step towards achievement. Now that you have the inspiration, you've probably even looked for a place to train near you, and you're ready to start. But how exactly do you start? What are the things that you must get right from the beginning in order to effectively progress? In other words, the basics. The first step is punching, and this begins with how to make a fist.
Well, first of all, you should roll your fingers up to where you cannot see your fingernails. Now, this is very important. The wrapping of the thumb. This is where we wrap our thumb.
Making a proper fist is not only important in generating powerful punches, but also in ensuring that you avoid hurting yourself while punching. The forearm and the first two knuckles lock in a straight line, and this ensures effective transfer of power through your target. Your body positioning and movement determines the amount of force you can generate with your punches, and this brings us to the fighting stance. This is basically how you position your body when fighting. Now, there are several fighting stances out there, and it might be confusing trying to figure out which one to go with. But it all comes down to two key things: defense and offense. How well does your fighting stance allow you to protect yourself as well as attack your opponent at the same time? Basically, you should stand upright with both your feet slightly bent. The front foot faces forward, and then the back foot faces slightly outwards about 45 degrees from your center line. Your feet should not be too wide apart or too narrow, just enough to give you stability and the agility to move freely in any direction. Finally, your hands should be up for defense and offense, and from this position, you are ready to strike. Punching is mainly about technique. As mentioned earlier, the forearm and the first two knuckles usually travel in a straight line. The movement starts from the core tension and not the shoulder as it appears. The hip and the shoulder then twist towards the punching hand, and then the strike happens at the end of the turn. Striking with the first two knuckles produces a higher impact by reducing the area of the fist in contact with the target, as opposed to striking with all four knuckles. This is because the force from the punch is concentrated on a much smaller area, hence more pressure is produced on the target. Knuckle push-ups are a great way to strengthen your punches as well as hitting a heavy bag, but this should only be done once you have mastered the proper technique to avoid injuries. Once these become easier for you, you can try out different variations to increase intensity and therefore power. A great martial artist not only knows how to punch properly, but also how to kick. Kicks are always a good complement for punches for several reasons. They are usually a bit more technical compared to punches, but once you get them right, you can turn yourself into a knockout machine. This entails using your feet to strike. Compared to the hands, the legs have much bigger and more powerful muscles. This means that typically, kicks are more powerful than punches. There are many different types of kicks among different martial arts styles, but today I will briefly describe the main 6. The first one is the front kick, and this is the proper way of doing it. From a fighting stance, push from the ground and thrust with your back foot. Drive it to the knee level of your supporting foot, then fully extend and strike your target with your heel. The second kick is the roundhouse kick. From the fighting stance, push from the ground and thrust with your back foot. Then twist your hip completely together with the supporting foot. Then extend and strike your target with the top part of your foot. The third kick is the side kick. From the fighting stance, push from the ground and thrust with your back foot. Twist your hip and body to face sideways away from your target, and the side of your foot to face your target. Then extend your foot and strike with the side of your foot. The fourth kick is the back kick. From the fighting stance, turn your body so that your back faces your target, and then look at your target. From this position, push from the ground and thrust with the foot that is further from your target, and then strike with the heel. The fifth kick is the hook kick. From the fighting stance, push from the ground and thrust with the back foot, then twist your hip and strike your target with the heel. The sixth kick is the spinning hook kick. From the fighting stance, twist your hip and shoulder like this, and then look at your target. Then push from the ground and thrust with your back foot. Strike with the heel. Kicks have the advantage of having longer reach and are more lethal compared to punches. However, they are more technical and require more training to master, but once you get them right, they are so powerful. For the best results, combining punches and kicks is the trick. Typically, punches are mostly used to set up a kick, but they can be used interchangeably. For example, you can feint a front kick to set up a reverse punch, or a jab to set up a back kick. But how exactly do you achieve this? How do you effectively combine punches and kicks in a fight? If you observe great martial artists, you will notice that one of the most important things they have mastered is combos. This could be in form of multiple attacks or feints, and the reason they are so effective is because it is usually easy for an opponent to see the first attack and respond to it. When multiple attacks are used in quick succession, it becomes much difficult to see them and respond accordingly. This also explains why most knockouts are usually from combos. That said, let's look at 3 basic combinations you can use to win a fight. The first one is a straight lead punch, or the jab, and a reverse punch, or the cross. Typically, the jab is usually to distract the opponent and hide the bigger and stronger cross. For the best results with this, the jab should be complete, like a real punch, even though it is a feint. This is to bait the opponent into blocking it, and the main attack comes immediately after. The second combination is an addition to the first combo. This time, after doing the 1-2 punch combination, you finish off with a kick. This could be a roundhouse kick to the ribs, head, or a front kick to the midsection. For the best results with this, all the 3 attacks should be complete to fully engage the opponent's guards. The third combination is a feint jab followed by a back kick. Basically, the feint jab distracts the opponent and baits him to block, committing his guards up and leaving the midsection open. The back kick then targets the open midsection. The reason this combo is deadly is because the back kick is hidden by the feint jab, hence difficult to see. The twisting of the body adds more power to the kick, making it a lethal attack. At this point, you're pretty close to becoming a master, but one thing is missing: strength and conditioning. It doesn't make sense to have very good techniques but you can't hurt someone. To be lethal, you need to have both good technique as well as peak physical capability. This means strength, endurance, speed, flexibility, and body conditioning. Simply put, full body fitness is key, but there are many ways to train your body. I will put together a separate video about how I train my body for martial arts, so don't forget to turn on notifications so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. There you have it, a step-by-step guide of how to progress from a beginner to master. And like I said earlier, many people dream of becoming great martial artists, but very few actually realize that dream. The key is to have a proper strategy and, most importantly, action. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy our short film as well, or what happened to me when I did 500 push-ups a day for 90 days. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay amazing.